Like damn, she wanna afford to touch me. I say I want it, and she got it.
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. Let's dive into TNA Impact from July the 4th, 2024. A pretty decent show for the most part. We are 2 weeks away from Slammiversary. TNA is still figuring out the card. And so far, the match card looks pretty decent so far. And I'm very excited for Slammiversary. Can't wait. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. Leon Slater versus Trey Miguel. It was a no contest because NXT's Charlie Dempsey showed up and wrecked everything. So he beat the shit out of both guys. And he also suplexed a referee, which was great. And then security came out and he beat some of those guys up too. And the fans chanted NXT. So that was great. I loved it. It makes perfect sense. I'm glad the TNA NXT Forbidden Door is still open. Makes perfect sense. Hopefully we can get like a 6-man tag out of this, where it's the Rascals, which is Wesley, Trey Miguel, and Zachary Wentz versus the No Quarter Catch Crew, Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Damon Kemp or Tavion Heights. So that would be fine. That would be cool. Hopefully we can get that sometime soon. So this was great. Moving on. So Gia Miller, she's backstage. She knocked on Matt Hardy's door to get an interview. Matt Hardy said Eddie Edwards would learn the repercussions of putting his hands on Matt's wife. Rebecca Hardy, or Rebby Hardy, talked about being gone from wrestling for 8 years. Matt Hardy said they would delete Eddie and Alicia Edwards. Who gives a damn? I don't give a shit about this. Moving on. So the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, they were pissed off. They were angry about the Charlie Dempsey attack. They said that Dempsey would not make a name off of them in TNA. And then Zachary Wentz proceeded to challenge him to a fight next week. Great. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Tremendous stuff. Excellent. This is great. Moving on. This led us into Denny and Luna versus Jody Threat. This was billed as a 10-minute challenge. Basically, it came to a draw for whatever reason. I have no idea why. They could have easily done like a roll-up finish real quick. So, the fans, they chanted for 5 more minutes, and they got it. Only for the match to be interrupted by Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich. And, Masha and Alicia beat the shit out of both women, or both knockouts. So this is fine, but I don't like this. For the simple fact of the matter is, you already have 2 matches on the card that had the same finish, essentially. There were no contest. It's the same thing with Dynamite, where you had 2 roll-up finishes in one night. Don't do that. That's not good. Don't ever do that. It makes no sense. You could have at least had Danny and Luna do like a quick roll-up on Jody Threat. And you still could have done the post-match beatdown involving Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich. But it is what it is. Moving on. So, Mustafa Ali and his entourage, they're backstage with Santino Marella. So, Mustafa Ali said he wanted to retract his challenge to Mike Bailey. Mustafa Ali said that Mike Bailey hasn't earned a title shot. Santino said they can't just give out title shots, so Mike Bailey will have a chance to earn a shot at the title in a number 1 contenders match next week. And it's going to be a triple threat involving Mike Bailey, Jonathan Gresham, and Kushida. Okay, that's fine. That should be fun, I guess. moving on, Frankie Kazarian defeated Mike Santana to qualify for the 6-way for the TNA World Championship at Slammiversary. So I predicted that that would happen, and it's fine. So it makes perfect sense. So basically, Johnny Dango Curtis came out. JDC, he came out, and he threw Santana into the ring post, and he busted open Santana, which was great. That was great. And Frankie won via countout. So this is fine. This makes perfect sense. Obviously, Santana's going to be in a feud with the system, which is kind of okay. So I do like that. Perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. I mean, it was predictable that Frankie Kazarian was going to win anyway. Moving on. So, Chris Bay and Ace Austin, a.k.a. the ABC, they were backstage. They talked about regaining the TNA Tag Team Championships at Slammiversary. That's fine. And I hope they do. Because the system, they fucking suck. Moving on. So, we go backstage. And so Dr. Ross is trying to give an update on Step DeLander. Step DeLander is revived by PCO for whatever reason. I have no idea why. First Class, they cut a promo about bragging about the attack and having a first-class summer. Santino appeared to them and said that AJ Francis would defend the Digital Media Championship next week, and he would face PCO at Slammiversary. And AJ Francis said he's not worried about PCO. Okay, that's fine. I don't know why we couldn't get AJ Francis versus PCO on a random episode of TNA Impact. I do not want to see PCO on Slammiversary, but it is what it is. It seems like they're doing the whole Clash at the Castle thing, where you had so much talent from Scotland. It was unreal. And it seems like TNA is doing the same, and I don't like that. You don't need to have guys who are from Canada on the card just because you want, because you're in their hometown of Canada, or their home country of Canada. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work like that. But it is what it is. Moving on. So, Matt Hardy and Rebby Hardy, they defeated Alicia Edwards and Eddie Edwards. So Brian Myers came out. He got involved towards the end of the match. And basically, the Hardys, they got the win. So that was it. So Matt Hardy got the win via twist of fate. Who cares? Waste of fucking time. I don't care about this. Moving on. So, Brian Myers and Johnny Curtis, they complained to Santino Marella after the match. So, the ABC, they confronted him. Santino said that next week, Johnny Curtis Bravo would face Chris Bay next week. Okay, that's fine. Moving on, we get a Jordynne Grace promo. So Jordynne Grace is backstage. She's complaining about Ash by Elegance not being there and being on vacation. She said next week she was going to issue another open challenge to anyone from anywhere. So that's fine. It makes perfect sense. We know Izzy Dam's going to be entering the challenge, and I'm down for it. This should be a good little fun match. Again, I'm loving the TNA NXT Forbidden Door stuff. Really cool. Really, really good stuff. Really good shit. I love it. Moving on. Main event of the evening. Joe Hendry defeats Jake Something to qualify for the 6-way at Slammiversary. And I was correct with all my predictions. The baby faces are as follows: Nic Nemeth, Josh Alexander, Joe Hendry. The heels: Moose, Steve Maclin, and Frankie Kazarian. Those are the heels. And I got all those right. And I think that makes perfect sense. This was great. So, post-match, Joe Hendry, he gets on the mic. He said that he's one step closer to becoming TNA World Champion and getting to live his dream. Joe Hendry said it would happen because of the people. Joe Hendry said he would become the face of TNA in Montreal. And he said anything is possible when you believe. This was great. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Perfect. I love this. Joe Hendry has to win at Slammiversary. It's Joe Hendry or bust. Now, I know for the last week or two, I've been saying it's either got to be Nic Nemeth or Joe Hendry, but now it has to be Joe Hendry or bust. I like Nic Nemeth. I'm a fan of his work. Always have been, always will be. But Joe Hendry needs to win at Slammiversary, hands down. He cannot fucking lose. If Scott D'Amore was still in charge, it would be lame-ass Josh Alexander winning because they're in fucking Canada. But who cares about that? Joe Hendry needs to win because this would put TNA on the map. This would give them a ton of exposure. This could still expand the Forbidden Door with NXT. And this would give them mainstream attention. Joe Hendry is massively over. He's more over than what Elias was in WWE when Elias was doing his music and gimmick and everything. Walk of Elias and stuff. Joe Hendry's even more over than Elias. So TNA has to put the gold on Joe Hendry. He has to be the face of TNA. You can't revert and go back to Josh Alexander because he's not over anymore. And Josh Alexander is on his way out because TNA is not going to renew his contract come next year anyway. He didn't really even want to be there once Scott D'Amore got fired. We know Nic Nemeth probably won't win. And none of the heels are going to win. Steve Maclin, you can forget it. Moose, fuck him. And Frankie Kazarian, fuck him as well. So, no. So, it's either Joe Hendry or bust. And Joe Hendry has to win. So, the end of the show happened when the system, they were shown leaving the building and they're getting in their car. And so, Johnny Dingo Curtis said that he took out Mike Santana, but he didn't take out Nic Nemeth. He wasn't the one that did that. They wondered who took out Nic Nemeth. Then they cut to Frankie Kazarian smoking a cigar, and then he was saying Marks, and then he was asking someone what they were filming. So this is interesting. I love the whodunit angle with Nic Nemeth. More than likely, it's probably going to be Steve Maclin. So I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case. But TNA is headed in the right direction. Again, I said before and I'll say it again. Joe Hendry has to be the one to dethrone Moose at Slammiversary. He's already beaten him before. He can beat him again. So the final two in the 6-way elimination match should come down to Moose and Joe Hendry, with Joe Hendry winning. It will be a massive pop and reaction when Joe Hendry becomes champion. Joe Hendry has to be champion at Slammiversary. He has to. And this would put TNA in a step in the right direction. And this could get people back watching TNA. Again, TNA's issue comes from them being on Access TV. And TNA's issue comes with the fact that they are still trying to push people from the Scott D'Amore regime, which should be over and done with. Joe Hendry has to win. He has to. So TNA was okay. I predicted the entire 6-way. I got all that right, which is great. That's good stuff. But if you really just watch the product, you would realize that the 6-way was totally predictable. Like, you knew that's what they were going to put in there. You knew they were going to put in Josh Alexander and Nic Nemeth. You knew they were going to put in Frankie Kazarian, and you knew they were going to put in Steve Maclin. They've been pushing all four of those guys in different ways. So, yeah. But what did you guys think about TNA? And happy 4th of July. Hope you guys have a good one. Hope you guys have a safe and happy 4th of July weekend. Drink responsibly. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.